Last weekend, we had the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game. And when I made my prediction on the AFC wildcard game and the NFC wildcard game to see who was going to make the Super Bowl, who was going to make the NFC and AFC Championship game, I got all four teams right. And I got the teams that was going to make it to the Super Bowl. Y'all are going to listen to me. Y'all are going to listen to me. Y'all are going to stop betting against Patrick Mahomes. And that's where we are going to start. The Kansas City Chiefs, the dynasty of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, continues. They go into Baltimore and beat the number one seed Baltimore Ravens 17-10 to advance to their fourth Super Bowl in 5 years. The dynasty of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid continues, and the Chiefs, no matter what seed they are, you can just never count them out in the AFC. The Ravens, who finished with a season best, the number one seed in the AFC, had home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Was a very good season for the Baltimore Ravens that just fell short in the AFC Championship game. But for the Kansas City Chiefs, they have played in the last 6 AFC Championship games. They're moving on to their fourth Super Bowl in the last 5 years. The Swifties are proud. The Swifties are proud of Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs. And now they are on to Las Vegas to be playing the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes was 30 of 39 for 241 yards with 1 TD. He also had 6 carries for 15 yards. When looking at that on paper, it doesn't look like it was too much, but it was most definitely key, and we will be talking about it a little bit later. Isaiah Pacheco, 24 carries, 68 yards, and 1 TD. Travis Kelce, 11 receptions, 116 yards, 1 TD. He was the leading reception person, and he was the leader in yards. Rashee Rice was 8 receptions for 46 yards, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling 2 receptions for 38 yards, including the crucial deep ball towards the end of the game to pretty much seal the win for the Kansas City Chiefs. Lamar Jackson was 20 of 37 for 272 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. He also had 8 carries for 54 yards. Gus Edwards, 3 carries for only 20 yards. Justice Hill, 3 carries for only 3 yards. Their leading receiver was Zay Flowers with 5 receptions for 115 yards. He had 1 touchdown, but he had 1 crucial fumble loss, which we'll be talking about. Nelson Aguilar, 1 reception for 39 yards. Odell Beckham Jr., 3 receptions for 22 yards. The Baltimore Ravens, you had it. This was the team that could beat the Kansas City Chiefs. You had everything on the line. All of these teams, the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. This was Patrick Mahomes' first time in the playoffs where he had to travel on the road and play these big-time teams. So a lot of people were questioning the Kansas City Chiefs, especially how they were playing throughout the course of the season. Travis Kelce getting hurt. The team isn't really connecting. They're losing the teams that they shouldn't be losing to. And they end up being the 3rd seed, and they have to go on the road to Buffalo and play them in Buffalo for the divisional game versus the previous 2 times that they had to play them. They were all at home. They had to play the Baltimore Ravens, who looked like the best team in the NFL, beating the San Francisco 49ers, destroying them. The defense looking good. The offense, the running game, Lamar Jackson looking like the MVP frontrunner, which he will begin the MVP at the end of the season. But when it mattered most, and you have home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs, Patrick Mahomes comes in your building. Andy Reid comes in your building, and they just beat you. And the crazy thing was, they didn't even score a single point in the second half. The defense stepped up in the second half of the Baltimore Ravens. They did. But the difference was when it mattered most, when they needed to get off the field on 3rd down and 4th down, there were plenty of times where Mahomes would throw it to Travis Kelce. Or the 6 carries for 15 yards, Mahomes would just run for 3 yards and get the first down. Run for 5 yards and get the first down. Those 15 yards by Patrick Mahomes was crucial. It doesn't look like a lot. It just looks like he only ran the ball just six times for 15 yards. That don't look like nothing on the stat sheet if you just look at the stats. But when they needed to get the first down, when they needed to keep the chains moving, Patrick Mahomes did that with his legs, and he did that with his arm. The running game for the Kansas City Chiefs was very, very effective. They came out on the first drive and was running the ball all over the Baltimore Ravens. They're getting whatever they wanted on the Baltimore Ravens. Travis Kelce was getting whatever he wanted. And they end up scoring a touchdown on the very first possession. Steve Spagnuolo had a game plan for Lamar Jackson. Had a game plan. Stopping the whole run. And the Baltimore Ravens just abandoned it. You have the number one rushing attack for years. You've been having that for years, no matter what running back you have, whether it's Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Justice Hill. You have all of these guys, and you still have the number one rushing attack time and time again. But why, when it matters most, you abandon the run? You only run the ball 6 times between the two running backs, and Lamar Jackson had 8 carries for 54 yards. Some of them were scrambles, so they didn't even run the ball. You turn Lamar Jackson into a pocket passer, throwing passer. There's nothing against Lamar Jackson saying that he can't do that. But the strings to this Baltimore Ravens team is running the football downhill. When they were running the football, they was pretty effective. But the moment teams try to throw the ball up and down the field and try and make a shootout against the Kansas City Chiefs, they lose every single time. You see what happens with the Buffalo Bills. The key to beating Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs is to run the ball and keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. The longer you keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, the better chance you have to win. The longer your time of possession that you have in order compared to the Kansas City Chiefs, the higher chance that you have on beating this team. And that's where the Baltimore Ravens messed up. They messed up right there. They messed up on penalties. There was a whole lot of penalties against Patrick Mahomes. He's running face masks, unnecessary roughness. Like, you can't do that if you're the defense. You have to stay disciplined. You held them to 0 points in the second half, but when it mattered most and you needed to get off the field for extra time for Lamar Jackson, you couldn't do that. Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, questionable game plan. They just flat out just got out coached. Andy Reid just showed the Baltimore Ravens, showed John Harbaugh, how to win a game. Which is running the ball 24 times like Isaiah Pacheco did, compared to 6 times for the Baltimore Ravens, and they're the number one rushing attack. And effectively on 3rd down, 4th down, keeping the chains moving. They did that the entire game. From start to finish, from their first possession all the way until their last possession. With the deep throw to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which the Baltimore defense didn't even think, out of all people, they thought that it was going to be either a run or they were going to throw it to Travis Kelce. Nobody thought that they were going to go over the top to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Nobody thought that. I didn't even think that looking at the game. But that's Andy Reid right there. And he has somebody like Patrick Mahomes that can do that. This is how you win playoff games. You have to run the football. You can't abandon the run game only. You have to go to your strengths, especially when you play Patrick Mahomes. You're the number 1 seed. You're the top seed in the AFC for a reason. That reason is that defense and you relying on your strengths, which is running the football. You get guys like OBJ on your team. You get Zay Flowers, who has been playing a good season. You get better wide receivers that you had compared to last year, which is good. But your strong suit that has been consistent for years, year in, year out, no matter what running back it is, because they didn't have so many running backs, is running the football. And you can't run the football 6 times between 2 running backs, and 1 time with Lamar Jackson. You can't do that. You can't run the ball twice between 2 quarterbacks, 6 carries, and Lamar Jackson 8 carries. That's not going to win football games. versus Isaiah Pacheco gets the ball 24 times. Even though he had 68 yards, those were effective 68 yards. Effective 68 yards. They were able to run the ball. And when it mattered most, they could keep the chains moving. But with the Ravens, when it mattered most, the offensive line couldn't do anything. Steve Spagnuolo said, hey, we're going to let Lamar Jackson, we're going to drop everybody back, and we're going to let Lamar Jackson beat us with his arm. Not saying that he can't, but the strong suit with Lamar Jackson, the play action pass, the run and attack, and then set up the throw. But if you're going to have him drop back every single time, Lamar Jackson dropped back. I don't think he threw the ball 37 times, but he dropped back over 40 times. Normally when Lamar Jackson and the team wins, they run the ball way more. That number will come down. It was a 17-7 game. Pretty much the whole second half. The whole second half, it was 17-7. You didn't have to abandon the run. You just didn't. It's not like it was 24-3 middle of the third quarter to where now you have to abandon the run. Nah, it was a close game. A close game pretty much throughout. But the moment they kept on drop back, I'm sitting here, I'm like, what is the Ravens doing? Because this isn't Ravens-like football. Smash mouth football is Ravens football. And clearly it shows if they've been the top of rushing attack for these past couple of years, no matter what running back it is. And they have someone as dynamic as Lamar Jackson, who will be getting an MVP for this season for what he has done. But when it mattered most, why do you not have him running? I get that Lamar Jackson isn't trying to get hurt, but this is the playoffs we're talking about. You got to do whatever you can to win. You just have to. And running the ball 6 times isn't going to cut it. It's just not. But for the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce had him a game. It felt as though the Baltimore Ravens just could not stop this dude. He had 11 catches. I think on 11 targets, if I'm not mistaken. 11 or 12 targets. 116 yards. And got the touchdown. He was effective. He was dominant. Nobody could stop him on the Baltimore Ravens team. Nobody. And when it mattered most, they couldn't get the Kansas City Chiefs off the field. Simple as that. They just couldn't. Teams that try and make it a shootout against the Kansas City Chiefs will always lose. Baltimore tried it. Dropping back so many times, drop back throw. That's not going to beat Patrick Mahomes. Same with the Buffalo Bills. It's not going to beat Patrick Mahomes. Same with the Miami Dolphins. If it was 70 degrees, dropping back throwing, either way, the same formula, it doesn't work against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs when it matters most. You see the teams that Patrick Mahomes has lost to in the playoffs, they were able to run the ball. They were able to keep him off the field. When he lost to Tom Brady, they were able to keep him off the field. When they lost to the Patriots in the AFC Championship, Tom Brady was able to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field in the fourth quarter and in overtime. That's how you beat Andy Reid and Kansas City Chiefs. The more possessions you give Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, the more times that they have opportunities to score. And anybody that bet against Patrick Mahomes and not scoring in those possessions are full of themselves, because he's been proof of it time in and time out in these playoffs. He just has. So, looking at how Tom Brady beat him twice with the Patriots and the Buccaneers, it was the same formula. And just have a defense that can stop Patrick Mahomes. But keep him off the field. Be able to effectively keep the chains rolling. And when you do get on the field, stop him when it matters most. That's how you beat him. That's how Tom Brady beat him. No matter what team it was the same formula. But now these teams are prioritizing and dropping back, throwing, prioritizing and score, instead of methodically moving the ball. 12 plays, 15 plays, 13 plays. It doesn't always have to be 5 plays. Because the moment it's 5 plays, Mahomes could come back 5 plays back at you. Because my homeboy can do that. He can do that every single time. No matter who he has on the team. As long as he had Travis Kelce, he'll do that. As long as he had Tyreek Hill, all of these guys, Mecole Hardman, even though he's on this team, but when he was with Tyreek Hill, when he had all of these guys, he could still do the exact same thing. And especially when it's late in the game, you have to keep someone like him off of the field. It's a 17-7 game, Baltimore. The Chiefs didn't score a single point. Let me repeat that. Didn't score a single point in the second half. But they still won. If I would have told you that the Kansas City Chiefs didn't score a single point in the second half, you would be sitting here like, how did they win? You would be sitting here like, how did they win this game? But it's because when it mattered most, they were able to keep the chains moving. And when Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens abandoned the run early and went to their weakness, they lost the game. Instead of rushing the football and making that turn into the pass game, make your rushing game turn into the play action pass or the throwing game, that's how they lost. Along with the fumble, penalties, stupid penalties. This was Baltimore's chance of beating Patrick Mahomes and making it to the Super Bowl. This was their best chance. You didn't have wide receiver help, you get wide receiver help. Your defense improves, get Roquan Smith, you get these guys on the team, Kyle Hamilton, all of these guys that they have on the team, Marlon Humphrey, all of these guys that they have on this team. This defense is very talented. One of the top defenses in the league. They don't have the best wide receiver core, but they have Mark Andrews. They have a great rushing attack. It's complete all around. This was the year that the Baltimore Ravens at home could have beat Kansas City. And how Kansas City was playing from week 1 all the way to week 18, we're having questions. Is this the same Kansas City Chiefs team? They don't have Tyreek Hill these past 2 years. It's looking less dynamic. Travis Kelce isn't the same Travis Kelce that he was a couple of years back. All of these questions coming. Is Patrick Mahomes really him? This is his first time going on the road and playing road playoff games. Will he be able to fare up against these same exact teams that he beat at home versus on the road? And he proved in the divisional round and in the AFC Championship. He proved, Andy Reid proved, Steve Spagnuolo proved that no matter where it is, you never bet against them. This was the best year that they could have got eliminated. This was the Ravens' shot on eliminating the Kansas City Chiefs. You have the most, in my opinion, the most dynamic quarterback, the most versatile quarterback in the league in Lamar Jackson. He can run the ball very effectively. The best running quarterback in the league. Can throw the ball. You have a very good defense. Team is just complete all around. And you only score 7 points. And when it mattered most, you couldn't get off the field. Those things don't happen. When you're one of the top teams, it shouldn't happen. But on any given Sunday, it can be your worst day in the playoffs. You saw with the Cowboys in Green Bay. You saw that game. Cowboys were at home and they got blown out. Any given Sunday, a team can just come and not play right, and blow their chance on potentially going to the Super Bowl. So the Chiefs have played in the last 6 AFC championship games. The Chiefs forced 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers. The interception, the strip sack, and the fumble by Zay Flowers. The Baltimore Ravens only ran the ball 11 times. That's not going to win football games at all. Period. That's just not. And with Patrick Mahomes, he is really making his case on being the GOAT. He really is. He's already, last year, when Patrick Mahomes did what he did, when he did win a Super Bowl, all of these Super Bowl appearances, he made his case to being a GOAT. He made his case on being a top 5 quarterback. Patrick Mahomes right now, at the age that he is already a top 5 quarterback in NFL history. And he still is in his prime. He is still going. And that is crazy for someone this early. We saw the potential at the beginning, his first year, that, man, this kid can be special. And you see it. And if he can win this Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers, beat them again, what is that? That'll be his 3rd Super Bowl? Let me see. Patrick Mahomes. That'll be his 3rd Super Bowl. If Patrick Mahomes wins, that'll be his 3rd Super Bowl. And he only lost to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. That's the only person that he lost to. If Patrick Mahomes, with this team that he has, makes it to the Super Bowl and wins it, he already made it to the Super Bowl. If he wins this Super Bowl with the team that he has, you got to consider Patrick Mahomes already at the age that he is a top 3 quarterback in NFL history. Yes, I said it. I said it. My homeboy. If he wins this Super Bowl right now, he is a top 3 quarterback in NFL history. I said no lies. But my personal opinion, will Patrick Mahomes ever be better than Tom Brady? I don't think Patrick Mahomes will ever be better than Tom Brady, simply because of the simple fact that when it mattered most, Tom Brady did beat him twice. He beat him twice head-to-head. Now, I do not want to hear y'all in the comments say, well, Eli Manning beat Tom Brady twice. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, okay? I feel as though overall, Tom Brady comebacks in the Super Bowl, game winners, just clutch gene, talent as a quarterback. All of these things makes him better than Patrick Mahomes. It's just added on that Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes twice, once in the AFC Championship game and once in the Super Bowl. You have to take that into consideration. In order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And did Patrick Mahomes ever beat Tom Brady when it mattered most? No, he didn't. So I feel as though he can be as high as 2. He's for sure the second best quarterback that I have seen personally. The talent, the arm strength, his impact on the game at such a young age. He has pretty much the same exact numbers as Tom Brady in regards to Super Bowls, MVPs, all before turning the age of 30. That is crazy. He's made it to the last 6 AFC Championship games. Every single time Patrick Mahomes has started, his team has made it to the AFC Championship game. Every single time. Do you not know how hard that is? There's teams out here that have not even made it to the NFC Championship game in decades. Dallas Cowboys, amongst other teams. And he's doing this back-to-back years. He's making it to Super Bowls. He's winning Super Bowls. And he's doing it without Tyreek Hill. People thought that, whoa, without Tyreek Hill, this Chiefs team is not going to be the same. Patrick Mahomes and this team isn't going to be the same. And he's proving people wrong. Oh, they're playing a road game against Buffalo. Oh, they're playing the top seeded Ravens, who have been looking like the best team in the NFL. It didn't matter. It didn't matter at all. He proved everybody wrong. He proved the people that thought that the Ravens or the Buffalo Bills were going to make it to at least the AFC Championship game or to the Super Bowl. And he was like, this is my division. This is my AFC. So it's kind of interesting that already we're putting Patrick Mahomes as one of the great time quarterbacks, one of the all-time quarterbacks. Top 5 already. But for sure, if he wins this Super Bowl right here with the team that he does have, after he just beat the Eagles last year, and he goes back-to-back Super Bowls, you got to put Patrick Mahomes as a top 3 quarterback of all time. Will he be better than Tom Brady? Me personally, no. I can't say that because Tom Brady beat him twice. You just can't say that. You can't. When it matters most, you got to beat the best, and he couldn't beat the best. Never could. So you can't put him ahead of Tom Brady, and especially what Tom Brady has done. 7 Super Bowls. You can't stop 7 Super Bowls, man, especially one against him. You can't stop a 28-3 lead. Yes, Patrick Mahomes did that against the Texans. They were down 24-0, and they scored like 30 or 30-something unanswered, and they beat the Texans by 20 points. They scored 50 points at the end of the game. Phenomenal. You got against the 49ers in the Super Bowl where they were down and they scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to win that game. Yes, he's had games like that. But 28-3 is still remembered till this day. 28-3 destroyed the Falcons franchise, and they haven't recovered since. We haven't heard nothing about the Atlanta Falcons since 28-3. Who did that? Tom Brady. All of the comebacks, the clutchness, the arm ability, all of these things. He wasn't the best athlete. Mahomes is a better athlete than Tom Brady. Most of these quarterbacks are a better athlete than Tom Brady. But how effective Tom Brady was is just different. It's just different. And Patrick Mahomes, he just couldn't beat him. He just couldn't beat him. So, will Mahomes at the end of his career be better than Tom Brady? I don't think he will be better than Tom Brady, but there will be discussion of who is the GOAT between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Will I personally say that he is better than Tom Brady? No, I won't. But going to the last 6 AFC championship games, going to their 4th Super Bowl in the last 5 years, winning the last year's Super Bowl, winning against the San Francisco 49ers with an opportunity to go back-to-back and winning against the 49ers once again with pretty much the same team. This could potentially solidify him as a top 3 quarterback of all time. I would say my top 5 quarterbacks, I would say you have to put Tom Brady. You have to put Montana. I will put Mahomes right there at 3. I will put Manning at 4. Dang, that's hard. 5 is up for grabs. But those are the 4. You have to put those 4 at least in the top 5. You could put anybody else at that 5 spot. But Brady, Montana, Mahomes, Manning, and whoever you want to put at 5, you can put at 5. And I wouldn't be mad. So, shout out to the Chiefs for making it to the Super Bowl once again, back-to-back in Las Vegas. That is going to be very interesting to see that outcome and what it will do for not only Patrick Mahomes' legacy, but Andy Reid.